have with me today Miss Geneva Connor Miller and Mr. David Miller, the husband-wife team here. So I thought that was a nice way to arrange this interview.
I lived in Virginia in the winter, so that was it. But I never had a problem. I loved Greeneville.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, because it seemed like you came here and everybody treated you well. So I never had a problem with anyone.
That's
here.
Interesting. How was that in relation to how you were treated? And you said Virginia?
Yeah.
Was it different, better, worse?
A little story. My grandmother on my father's side was dark complected. I loved that lady. I thought I was just like her. So to prove it, we'd walk down the street holding hands or whatever, and people would slow down in their cars and look at us. And I'd ask her, Nanny, is your slip hanging or is my slip hanging? Because I thought that was what was going on.
Wow.
But they were just looking at us.
So you didn't realize
I didn't realize I was as light as I was or any problem. I thought I was as dark as she was.
Right.
So I thought, hey.
And that certainly brings up a question that I wanted to ask. Obviously, within the Black race, we have such a variety of shades and colors.
Definitely, yeah.
And we also had, besides racism, colorism, which both still exist.
Yeah.
Colorism being something that had to do with the discrimination based on the actual skin color. And that was really, really prevalent, I'm sure, correct me if I'm wrong, during that time period.
Yes.
You being of a much lighter complexion,
Unreal.
Mr. David being a tad shade darker, but handsome nonetheless. What were your differences in the experience that you had?
I had no problem. My grandmother, my family never mentioned color. So I thought I was as dark as she was, because nobody ever said anything.
Yeah. But what about other kids, black or white, as time went on?
Actually, in Virginia, nobody said anything about color. Now, I did not realize there was a problem until I came here. And it was on Wesley Street.
Really?
And it was a lady, there was a kid, we were coming from the pool and going down to my aunt's house. And, you know, you speak to everybody down the street, you know, and especially if there's an adult on the porch. So I'm going down the street and we're walking down and this lady starts talking to me. And I thought, well, this is no problem. Well, she's never talked to anybody else, they said. And I thought, well, I wonder why. You know? And her nephew, her grandson said, it's because you're a lighter color. And I thought, what? What's that about?
Was she black or white?
She was black.
She was black. Was she fair-skinned as
No,
well?
I don't.
You don't?
She was darker than I was.
Okay.
But I, you know, just seemed strange.
From your viewpoint, how was that with the different shades?
Well, my experiences, I might say, were quite different from her. The first time I ran into discrimination among blacks, I was in college. I attended Thrift College in Rogersville, and at the same time, all-black school. At the same time, Morristown College, and we had an agreement where if athletes go from one school to the other to see a game, we got in free.
Okay.
So my freshman year, I went to Morristown to see this game, and I ran into a young lady whom I'd known all of my life. And she was very fair. She had blonde hair, light complected, whatever. And we were friends during grade school time. I saw her, and I said, hey, I'm happy to see her. And my friend who went to school with me, also a student at Rogersville, was a fair-skinned guy. I introduced her to him, and then I might as well have been a light pole or something. She completely ignored me, you know.
Right.
And then my second experience was when I was in Murfreesboro. I was in the military.
Mm-hmm.
There was a family there that appeared to be white, you know, but they said they were black. And a friend of mine was from South Carolina. He looked like a white guy also, and he was dating the girl there. And once in a while, I'd go by the house with him. And so he went on leave home, and I'm still at the base. So I go to town, I ran into the young lady, and I didn't realize that she had feelings for me, you know? But anyway, he's away on vacation, right, on leave. She takes me over to her mother's house and introduced me to her mother. Mother, this is Sergeant Miller. The lady acted like I didn't exist. She didn't say hello, goodbye, have a seat, whatever, you know. And on, I ran into stories like that. I've never had any negative experiences here in Greeneville, you know.
But elsewhere, and I
Elsewhere,
assume you've
yes.
been a lot of
Yes.
places. Can you kind of?
Oh, absolutely. In the 80s, I guess it was the 80s or perhaps the 90s, we would drive from the West Coast down here. And usually we would stop early to get a motel room because neither of us like to drive at night. So we were in Billings, Montana, and time got away from us. All the motels were full on the interstate. So we go downtown, Billings. Not knowing the town, I stopped a cop and asked him where the motels was, and he showed us that. So we decided after we got a room, we wanted to get something to eat. I asked the desk clerk, and she said, just around the corner. Geneva and I, it's dusk now, getting dark. We're walking down the sidewalk, and people are coming by flipping cigarettes, but at us, because they thought, yes. The restaurant we went to was a country western. And I knew immediately I don't belong here.
There's going to be some problems.
Yes. We walked in the door and I heard a voice say, well, what do we have here? And then another voice described what we were, you know? And I'm thinking, my wife is going to see me get injured, you know? I'm sitting there waiting, and we'd ordered the food. And someone pushed in between us. We're sitting at the bar. I turned around, and it was a white guy. He looked like he was 7 foot tall, you know? Now I'm thinking, oh, I'm gonna get killed today. And he said to me, I'm gonna buy you a drink, and I'm gonna fight your fight. He said, I'm from Florida. Wow. I don't believe in this kind of stuff. So it shows you something about prejudging people. Right. You know, right. Sometimes because a person's skin is a particular color or lack of color, it don't necessarily mean that everybody thinks alike or reacts alike in different situations.
That's true.
Yeah. From the time from, I would say, about 30 to 35, it was a weekly deal. I'd get stopped on the street. What are you doing in this neighborhood? Do you have a gun? Have you got the knife or what have you, you know? And I grew up, I was born here in the South. I always had white neighbors and never any problem. But it was just a tough situation. Once I got older, I'd say past 37, maybe 40, then they leave you alone. But it seems that people who have racist tendencies fear the young black male, right. You know? And it's going on now. I remember my son when he got his driver's license, you know? if he committed an offense, or maybe not even commit one, the police would pull up, and the cop would not get out of the car. He would call for backup. If it was black kids, they assumed that racists assumed that all black people are gangsters.
Right.
You know what have you.
Now, is that happening here, or where is your son located?
In Seattle.
Oh, in Seattle,
Yes,
okay.
yes.
So it's as you mentioned, that sometimes it's
it
not the area, it's the
That's
individual
right.
person.
Exactly.
It's
Well, you got to
everywhere.
understand too that when I first went to Seattle, out of the entire police force, they only had one black policeman. You know, so that makes a difference. Although there are black policemen out there who are just as bad as the other races. You know, sometimes some of us have a hatred of being who we are, and they take it out on fellow members.
Right. And Mr. David, you were in the military, I think you said?
Yes.
How was your experience in the military during that period?
Well, actually, it was very good, but I got, so I'd like to tell you again about, I was stationed down in Smyrna, Tennessee for a brief while after the war. And I'd ride to Murfreesboro with a white friend. I did not have a car at that time. And so we stopped at the service station just outside the gate to get gasoline, and they had a little tavern where they sold beer. So we decided we'd go in and have a beer. Now this is in 1954. And I tell my friend who was white, I said, they will not serve me there. He said, oh, come on, man. And so I go in, and sure enough, the lady said to him, I'm sorry, I can't serve your friend. And he asked her why. And she said, he's black. He replied that he's Portuguese. And the lady served me
He's what?
that I was Portuguese.
Oh, Portuguese.
Yes. Now, I discovered that it just meant it's all right to be black as long as you're not a black American.
Yeah.
You know?
Wow.
It's a different thing. And like you were questioning her about opportunities and whatever. I remember during the civil rights days when they were pushing for employment for blacks, that many whites would say, I wouldn't mind if I got to hire a Negro. We were Negroes then, right? I wouldn't mind hiring a light-skinned one. You know, I've heard that dozens of times in my lifetime. Yes, indeed. Indeed.
That's crazy.
It's mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Yeah.